Okay. Let's see. There's a couple here about. I'm trying to group the ones that are all similar together. From Derek C. Is the pleasure you experience from living a hedonistic lifestyle worth all the trouble?
Well, I don't know. You have to live a hedonistic lifestyle and tell me about the pleasure you experience and decide if it was worth it.
I think he means, dabbling outside your marriage.
Dabbling outside my marriage again. There are a lot of assumptions and presumptions that people have about relationships, about activities, and about like things people do or get into. And the internet is really great at taking bits of information and making sensational stories about them. But really, I don't know. I don't know what a hedonistic lifestyle is. Like at what point you tip into a hedonistic lifestyle. Have I engaged in various hedonistic activities? Well, sure. Yeah. I mean, I think all people do to some degree. And don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying like, well, it's the same as putting too much butter on your popcorn. Like, no, it's like,
That I
you
do.
got to stop that, Chrissy. We talked about this earlier. You got your
Like
wardrobe to
greasy to
consider.
the point, like I want to feel like 2 inches of grease at the bottom of the. That's how the Alamo Draft
You want to
House made.
see through the bag, like you want to see the
Yeah,
popcorn transparent. But it's like, no, I mean, I'm sure I've done things that are crazier than lots of people. Like I'm sure, but like at what point does it tip in to that? I have no idea. So it's like uh people have different opinions on that. Here's what I'll say. Worth all the trouble. Is life ever worth all the trouble? That's a decision a lot of people make every day, and some people make it in a negative way.
and you don't have an alternate like universe of you don't know how your life would have gone had this all not happened back in May. Like you don't.
No,
There's no
you
world where this doesn't like happen, so you don't know what to compare it to.
right. You only have the experience that you have. And that's something that everybody that was actually a huge comfort for me a long time ago. And I'm talking shit like 18, 19 years ago, 17, might have been 17 years ago. But I lived in the Twin Cities and had been through some employment issues, but I'd gotten to like a really like a good job that I really liked and was paying me really well. And I kind of looked back on the random like shitty employment I'd gone through, and I go, well, I literally wouldn't be here without this that happened. Like this stuff happened. Like I spent a year at Wells Fargo, and that was like the worst year ever. This one's rivaling it, but that year just fucking sucked. And it's like, but because of the connections I made at Wells Fargo, I was able to move on to the next job, which is actually a really good job that I really enjoyed with good people, and I had a lot of good time at that job. And so it's like, well, if I hadn't gone through this shitty part, I wouldn't be here. And I don't know what it would have been like. Maybe I would have had a way better job, or maybe I would have been homeless. I don't know. So you can't like sit and
Yeah.
dwell on
And maybe
what
this
happened.
and maybe like the going outside your marriage thing. This could have all still happened even regardless of going outside of your marriage. So,
Yeah, again, the going outside of the marriage thing is just it's such a complicated topic, because I think people have a lot of misconceptions about what what happened at Shea Rekieta. And like that's fine. It's not in I'm not inclined to talk about it. And people get to have their own perceptions, I guess. But they're always just gonna be their perceptions.
this one is about the tattoo from Garfield's Bizarre Adventure. Also, Nick, I saw the pics of you getting tattoos with your mistress. Again, they were not matching tattoos. It sucks that you spend time with April while Kayla is. No, I think you were all there. You said you were all there at the tattoo.
Yeah. Yeah, we were all at the tattoo convention together. It's great. See, people again, this is misconception thing. Like people believe that there's some sort of mistress thing going on, and it's like we're all friends. Like Kayla and I are married, and April is our friend, and our friend. Like April and Kayla have their own friendship. Like it's
So there's no more like hooking up happening.
people are like, well, people think that like That's a loaded question. Like, because that presumes something was going on prior. That again, like I'm not inclined to talk about any of this stuff in that way because it's not out there for people. But what people
Mhm.
need to know is that there's like we are spotted out in public together because we are all like friends.
Yeah.
Like it's so like these labels that people try to use or I guess concepts that get loaded into those labels are often what drive like their opinions about things. But again, without a grasp of the factual scenario, people are left to make their assumptions. And I'm not inclined to correct them. I don't really doesn't really matter to me. But it's people should understand that like if you say like you were mentioning earlier, like dabbling outside of your marriage, it's like, well, that assumes a whole lot of variables that aren't true. And so it's like, I don't know. We all again, we all hang out, we're all friends. You know, we're stuck in life together in this weird way where we're in limbo because of the state and the internet gets to just use us as their punching bag, and that's fine. Like at some level, that's what I signed up for, you know, is to be in the public eye.
Yeah, and it sucks because it's, a lot of personal information is getting out that you may not have necessarily ever wanted to talk about. Like, I'm sure it's not nobody wants to talk about their adult sexual relations. So, I can see why that's
Well,
uncomfortable.
yeah, and there's a lot of falsehoods that are out there too that you just really like again, being hampered by the fact that you have a pending criminal matter, you can't address them. And you can't address the people who spread them sometimes. So,
Oh, anime. I think are you still sleeping with April, yes or no? I
am I
think he
still
said
sleeping with April? Wow.
that
See, again,
assumes that they were sleeping together.
it's a lot of assumptions there. Again, the nature of my sleeping arrangements are confusing even to me. Sometimes I'm on a couch.